Reborn in a strange world with no powers and no body, our hero wakes up as nothing more than a fragile dragon egg. Surrounded by deadly creatures in a forest that wants him dead, survival becomes his only goal. From the weakest beginning, the path to becoming the strongest dragon begins. He wakes up to her empty, dark room. The room isn't even empty or dark, but since all he can see is the light that shines from the egg, he assumes the room is empty and dark. He looks around, trying to find a place to switch on the light, but what kind of light will he switch on when there is no light in the first place? His desperation, agitation, and fear eventually allows the egg to crack open. At least he can now see a glimpse of light, and that probably makes him feel better than usual. But what he sees upon looking through the crack makes him more scared. He sees trees and immediately assumes he is in a forest. His stats comes up, and yes, he is a dragon egg. He hasn't opened up to this reality yet, as the stat voice explains to him that he has a special skill of Divine Voice 1, a skill he certainly doesn't know what to do with it or how to deal with it. However, he knows that a voice keeps speaking to him. He tries to ask more questions to understand better, but the voice responds that at level 1, he doesn't have the ability to respond to his questions. Maybe when his divine voice levels up more, he can successfully answer him. His agitation makes him fall off the tree, his body cracks more, but luckily, he gets the skill of resistance, although in level 1, and the divine voice mockingly tells him he has klutz skills too. His body cracks more then while trying to survive. He starts rolling. That gives him the rolling skill, and he fortunately rolls into water. Thankfully, water is always a reflection of yourself. He looks at the water, and he is confronted with the greatest shock of his life, which is the fact that he is a dragon egg. I guess the voice has figured that he now knows his reality. The voice tells him that as a dragon egg, he has no power, and he can get destroyed if the egg cracks completely. Because he has no power, he cannot defend himself against any danger. However, a typical dragon egg can grow to be a powerful dragon depending on his survival instincts. Well, that may be difficult because adventurers are always hunting for dragon eggs, and if they see one, they destroy it immediately unless the dragon mother is close by. Trying to react to the fearful things he had just heard and experienced, he starts rolling again, and eventually, he gets to level 2 of rolling. At this point, he gets excited. He wonders what is the difference between level 1 and level 2, and to confirm his skills, he starts steering and sees that he can adjust his route with level 2. His excitement unfortunately makes him fall down the cliff, thereby increasing his falling resistance and klutz to level 2. His increase in stat isn't that important, because with that increase and his incessant rolling, he has lost some HP, and he has 3 left. He lends himself some brain and decides to rest until he fully recovers the HP he had lost. He rests until late evening, and when his HP returns to 5, he decides to keep walking to get answers to his several questions. He knows he is presently an egg, but it also means he has to hatch at a point and become a dragon. However, he doesn't know the process of hatching. Will he fight enemies like an RPG game and level up for him to evolve? These questions are met with no answers by the voice. He walks towards a tree and sees an insect there. He doesn't know that there are more insects than him in that area, but it is just smart that it wouldn't be only him. He uses his skills to check what the insect is and sees that it is a dark worm. It all gets dark for him when he sees that the worm has the title of an egg eater, which means he is a danger. Unfortunately, the worm notices him, and he immediately comes on the menu for meal that evening. His survival instincts kick in again, and he starts rolling and running. He knows for a fact that rolling can never make him escape from that doom, but what other skills does he have than that? He wonders if he could fight back, but when he uses his stat skills to check the stat of the worm, he sees that the worm has level 7 experience, and he has his complete 5 HP too, which means even if he fights back, he can't win. He doesn't get discouraged. Instead, he figures that since he can fall but the worm can't fall, he will deceive the worm towards the hill, and they will fall together. In actualizing his plans, he jumps towards a hill, dodges, and then pushes the worm down. He also loses a lot of his HP due to the fall, and he stays on the worm for a while. Suddenly, the worm stands up again. At this point, he begs that the worm gives up, and luckily the worm also has no HP left to fight, so he dies. With a breath of fresh air, he hears a voice that he has gotten 12 experience points for the kill, and he has also increased his HP to 5, and he is now fit for evolution. Piece by piece, he is putting together all the knowledge he needs to survive this strange world. The voice shows him his evolution process. He has 2 options, either becomes a baby dragon or a little dragon. He barely knows the difference between the two, and the voice aids by explaining. A little dragon is a dragon that looks like a dwarf, but he has the body of a bear. He has strength, and he is feared by the adventurers for his ability to use fire skills. The baby dragon, on the other hand, is a baby dragon that is just good as stew for meal. He has no skills. However, he has a very broad growth and evolution path, so he can evolve into dragons of several natures eventually. At that point where all he is thinking of is his survival, going for a little dragon seems like a better option. That way, he can protect himself for the meantime. Suddenly, a hand touches him, and a voice speaks. The voice asks him to become stronger and evolve well as he sees great potential in him. He gets confused. Is that voice the same as the divine voice that has been speaking to him earlier, especially since the divine voice has also evolved to level 2, but he gets no answer to that. However, the voice changes his thought process. He looks at the growth trajectory of the two dragons to make his decision. He sees that the little dragon has a lower growth trajectory. In fact, it can even be said that it doesn't have the ability to grow at all. On the other hand, the baby dragon has the ability to grow. It can grow into several species of dragon that influences his decision, and he decides to be a baby dragon without regrets. After making his decision, his egg hatches, and he grows into a dragon. The divine voice informs him that he has gained several skills which include dragon scale, baby breath, whistle, and nibble, all in different levels and skills. He looks at his stat and establishes that he had grown severally. However, despite his growth, the HP he lost earlier didn't increase, which means he has to rest. He goes to the dead worm to appreciate him for allowing him hatch, but as he touches the worm, his stomach groans for hunger. He can't imagine eating such an awful animal, but his stomach and body say otherwise, so he assumes he has to eat it for growth. He decides to eat it, and after he is done, he feels worse than he had earlier felt. He takes a rest, and when he wakes, his HP increases, and he has a renewed strength. While sleeping, he had dreamt that he returned to being human, but he can see he is still a dragon. He thinks about himself. He has memories of the fact that he was once human, but now it seems he had reincarnated into a dragon. He doesn't have much memory of his human time. He barely even knows his gender nor how he died. However, he will make good use of this opportunity. As he turns, he sees several worms surrounding him. He is no longer scared of them, and they are just his growth path. He hits and kills a lot of them, and he grows his level to almost his peak. This makes him assume that he may level up faster than he had imagined. After killing them, his stomach groans that he should eat them again, but he resists. They taste so bad, and he can't subject himself to that torture. He sees a mushroom around him and decides to taste that instead. After taking a taste, he feels like vomiting. He realizes it is poisonous, so he goes to drink water. He also gets a poison resistance skill from it. He is hungry, and he needs to get food. While trying to sort that out, he sees a gray wolf running. He checks the wolf's stat and sees that he is stronger, so he goes to fight. Using his fire punch, he kills the wolf. He plans to eat it in hopes that it will taste better than the worm. He uses his fire to smoke the wolf, and it indeed tastes well. He continues fighting, so he gets to level 20 out of 25, which means if he gets to level 25, he will be able to level up. However, his leveling rate has been so slow, and he doesn't know why, but he knows he will level up soon. He has also learned how to grill better, so he is eating better meals. However, he feels lonely. He doesn't have friends. The voice is boring, and he is practically his best friend. At that moment, he hears voices around him. He can't understand what the voices are saying, but he assumes they are humans. He hides and watches as 3 humans walk towards him. He sees they are dressed in armor. He checks their stat and sees that none of them is stronger than he is, so he decides that although he is a dragon, he looks cute, so he can get them to be his friend with his cute nature. He walks to meet them and assumes they will warm up to him, but the man takes a sword and attacks him. He gets the skill of sword resistance, but he is weak. The man then attacks him with magic, and he gets paralyzed. He realizes that he was only a fool for thinking he could befriend humans. All his efforts to level up are now in vain because he will be killed, but he doesn't want to die. The man comes nearer to him to kill him, but the little lady stops him. She begs for his life, and the men leave him. The lady starts healing him with her healing magic, and he gradually starts getting better. He checks her stat and sees that her name is Miria. She has a little HP left, but she is still using it to heal him. He knows that once he gets better, she will leave, so he decides to pretend to remain injured. He also can't understand her language, but he gets a Greek language skill, and once he levels up the skill, he would hear her better. As he processes the entire day, they hear screams from the men. The men have been attacked by a monster, and Miria immediately attempts to leave to save her party members. He drags Miria back because he knows she can't be strong enough to defeat such a monster, but she removes his hand and leaves. He is still paralyzed because of the magic, but he tries to wear off the paralysis in hopes that he could help the party to survive. His paralysis eventually wears off, and he runs to the site of the danger. He sees the monster and realizes it is a rock dragon with HP of 197. He sees Miria injured by the tail of the dragon, and as he screams her name, the dragon hears him and turns to attack him. What will he do? Will he save his first friend? The C-ranked rock dragon tries to stomp on him with full power, but the protagonist uses all his strength to dodge it. Because of using so much strength to jump away, the protagonist already can barely stand, making him realize his mistake. He regrets not teaming up with Miria's party as he believes if the 4 of them worked together, they might have stood a chance against this beast. But now that he's all alone, he is unsure if he will be able to even leave this place alive, let alone defeat the rock dragon. Being so underleveled, every cell of the protagonist's body tells him to hide, and as the rock dragon releases a deafening roar, he is finally overcome by fear and hides inside a bush, shivering. He peeks out and sees that the unconscious Miria only has 6 hit points left. but the protagonist is glad because she is still alive. The rock dragon, not being able to see the protagonist anymore, targets Miria again, leaving the protagonist wondering what he should do now. If he doesn't go to save Miria, she will most probably be eaten alive by the monster. So, he comes out of the bush despite his fears, but at that moment, the divine voice's mysterious hand stops him from moving, and he starts hearing the divine voice again, which keeps imploring him to run away, claiming he'll be cooked otherwise. But he doesn't care. He was a human once, and as a human, he can't abandon an innocent person. So, he roars loudly to shake off his fear, and then charges directly at the rock dragon. The rock dragon tries stomping on him, but as he dodges it, the system rewards him with the title, the King of Evasion. He sees that the old man who had teamed up with Miria has 0 HP, and as unfortunate as that is, there's another person still alive, so he desperately tries to save both Miria and the other person. He taunts the rock dragon by hitting it several times and makes it chase after him, but that turns out to be a mistake, as the monster uses a move called Tremor that hits him even though he's out of the monster's range. As the dragon gets closer to him and is about to use the move bite, the protagonist cleverly counters by shoving a fireball inside its mouth. However, the rock dragon somehow survives and immediately enters a state of recovery to restore its HP. In the meantime, the protagonist carries Miria on his back and runs away, leaving the other person behind, as he doesn't have the time or power to save him. After bringing Miria back to safety, the protagonist sees that her HP has gone down again and is now reduced to 3 from 6, leaving him wondering if this is because of the blood loss. Her status says that she's bleeding and is conscious, so he tries using the recovery magic rest on her, but it doesn't work, perhaps because it's a self-recovery skill only. So he focuses on returning the girl to her people, as he figures that only humans will be able to save her life. However, he doesn't know which way she and her party came from, so he follows the faint scent of humans and carries Miria out of the forest. But on his way out, a horde of gray wolves get attracted by Miria's scent, and as a result, they chase down the protagonist. The protagonist deals with the beasts with all his might to protect Miria and has no energy left by the end of the day. Still, he keeps pushing himself and carries Miria to a village. As there's no one in sight, he starts roaring loudly, hoping to get attention, and several humans do come out. But they, of course, think that the protagonist is a beast who's trying to harm Miria, and since there's no way for them to communicate, they start attacking him. Realizing that it's not possible for a dragon like him to make people believe he's not dangerous, he drops Miria down and runs away, receiving a new title from the system called Itty Bitty Hero. A few days later, Miria regains consciousness after getting proper treatment and finds herself in Marielle's house. Marielle explains to her that she had to use powerful white magic on her to save her life, so Miria thanks her. What bothers Miria is who brought her back to the village, so she asks Marielle if it was her other 2 party members, Old Man Grants or Dawes. But Marielle reveals that Grants's lifeless body was found by the villagers yesterday in the forest. Marielle is visibly upset, and she calls Dawes a fool for picking a fight with a rock dragon. Speaking of Dawes, Marielle reveals that his body is still not found, but she assumes that he was eaten by another monster. Realizing that she is the only one who lived, Miria feels extremely guilty and regrets not stopping Dawes from challenging the rock dragon. She bursts out crying, so Marielle comforts her, saying it's not her fault, but it doesn't help at all. All Miria can remember is how brave a man Dawes was. She remembers the day she saw Dawes getting triggered for the first time. On the said day, Dawes got into an argument with one of the boys in the village. The fight was caused by the fact that the boy told Dawes that he can't fight and win a rock dragon. The boy seemed so sure because he knew that the last time Dawes had encountered a rock dragon, he had gotten cold feet and ran away. Dawes insisted that it was in the past, and if he had a reason to fight a rock dragon now, he would surely win. The boys were so sure that he can't win, so his pride pushed him into doing an impossible task. He knew how impossible the task was, so he needed a healer to go with him. As a result, he approached Miria to go with him. When he told her what the mission is, she asked why he didn't tell someone much stronger than her, Marielle, to follow them instead. Dawes figured she didn't trust him enough, so he told her that he had spoken to Marielle and that she was the one who told him she had a prior engagement, so he should ask Miria for help. Miria had so many doubts in her heart. She knew how strong rock dragons were, and reminded him how Marielle had told her that she shouldn't for any reason go near a rock dragon, so why would Marielle give her permission for such a thing? Dawes tried to convince her better. He even claimed that Grants was there when Marielle gave her permission, and Grants claimed so too. He blackmailed her, saying she knew how strong rock dragons were and if she didn't follow them, they would die. Reluctantly, she accepted to follow them on the condition that if it got harder, they would leave immediately. Unfortunately, she wasn't even able to save them. Marielle encourages her that she did nothing wrong, reminding her that it is Dawes' pride pride that killed him and nothing else. She appreciates the fact that despite encountering a rock dragon, Miria could get home alive. This shocks Miria. She knows for a fact that she didn't get home on her own. She asks Marielle how she got home, and Marielle explains that the men who found her said they saw her attacked by a monster by the outskirts of the city. She recalls that she had blacked out when she was attacked by the rock dragon, so everything seems shaky to her. Seeing her confusion, Marielle tells her that humans sometimes experience a loss of memory after a bad encounter, so she may be going through that. Miria recalls when she sees the baby dragon fighting in front of her, so she wonders if that is the dragon that brought her home. She asks Marielle for the description of the dragon, but Marielle isn't there when the baby dragon brings her back, so she has little to say. Regardless, Miria remains lost in thought about the entire situation. On the other hand, the baby dragon wakes up after a long rest. He sees that his injury has healed, as he knows that rest will surely heal him. He thinks about Miria and wonders if she is now fine too. He considers all that has happened in the past few days, from how he used his fire against the rock dragon and assumed his fire had an effect, only to find out that the rock dragon has the power to renew its HP immediately it is attacked. This increases his resolve to get better no matter what, which means he has to evolve. Trying to evolve, he has to get to level 25. To do that, he catches a worm and hangs the worm on a tree so other worms can come to its rescue and he will kill them. He calls the deception technique Call Allies, and by using the technique, he gets the name Wrongdoer. He knows he is doing what is wrong, but he needs them at the moment, so maybe after he evolves, he won't do that again. He kills all the worms that come to fight him. Soon, he gets to level 25, and now he is able to level up. He asks for the evolution tree, and now he has 5 options. They are the Mini Dragon, Mini Angel Dragon, Kid Marble Dragon, and Young Plague Dragon. He really wonders what the difference is between a mini dragon, little dragon, or baby dragon, and the divine voice helps him in demystifying these mysteries. The mini dragon has a small stature like the little dragon, but its individual growth is slow, and it has limited evolution choices. However, many of its future evolutions feature great potential. He isn't a fan of slow growth, so that doesn't impress him. The mini angel dragon has a protective spirit and swears to live for the sake of others. As a result, it can use white magic, but doesn't fight. Again, that doesn't interest him. He enjoys fighting. He thinks about white magic since he saw Miria using it, but that incentive isn't enough for a decision. The kid dragon, on the other hand, is next, after baby dragon with increased ability. The kid marble dragon is a dragon that has undergone mutation. It also has magic prowess. The last is the young plague dragon. It is the first stage of an evil dragon that spreads disaster. The idea of spreading disaster doesn't sit well with him, so he rejects that immediately. The system continues to list the features of the dragon, which include the fact that it has high intelligence and can use human transformation. He screams that he doesn't want to do evil, but the idea of transforming into a human seems too good to ignore. Which of these dragons will he evolve into? He thinks of going to the village and making friends, but this only means he will be able to spread plague. He screams in confusion over the kind of evolution he should go for. What path do you think is right for him? Let me know in the comments.